Good morning, afternoon, evening, friends and family, loved ones. This is your friend Kelly, and I don't know if, yes, I did. The other day I posted a video regarding White Mountain knives, and this was the knife that we should have gotten instead of what they sent and that whole rigmarole. But was the Fenrir black PVD with the copper carbon fiber handles. And isn't that they did a good job with the copper in that's a good amount of them. So, anyway, let me tighten it down and slide it back to where you more or less maybe can see it. Brian picked this cord and what I'm going to probably have issues with, but he wants me to bracket. I showed him what I had, and he's like, I like the paw print. I had silver and gold that he was looking through. He goes, you don't have no bronze in that? I was like, yes, I had it in a separate little container because they're few and far between. I can't get any more of them, and when I bought them, it was a very limited amount of them that they had available. So those will be the beads that I do on there. And let's see here. I thought one of these, because it's a small hole. Let's see if I got that thinned out enough to where I can, probably not. If I can just get it started, and like I mentioned, that is a small hole for a lanyard. And even just putting in a single strand of 550 can be a pain. So there's no way you'll be able to double it up through there. Unless you maybe take out the inner strands. And even then, I don't like doing that with my lanyards. Because to me, it takes away from the fuller filling for your fingers to wrap around. And that's just me anyway. And you guys have watched me do this a dozen times. You take your left cord over the right cord and behind. You take the right cord over and through. Oops, hello, Kelly's losing it. Over and under. It helps if I actually do the loop and hold it there, doesn't it? And through the loop. And then just make sure that follows behind. And let's see here. I want to be able to make sure that it's big enough to where it can, if it needs to, go down below that. Or will Brian care if it goes down below that? As long as it moves this way, I bet you he won't care. If he doesn't like it, it'll be one of those things, and he'll get with me on it. So let me, because as long as it does that, I don't think he'll mind one bit. And like I've mentioned before, make sure you make the knots tight. And left over right and behind and under. And keep the loop over and through the loop. And then just pull it up. Make sure everything, and tighten that bugger. Left over right and behind. Hold the loop. Pull the right under over and through the loop. And like I said, just make sure that sucker's tight. And if he's got his finger there, his hands are a little bit bigger. So I like to make sure he has enough of a purchase for his pinky or partial ring finger and pinky. Because if he does, I mean, my pinky is on that little lip there. And it's still, when it's wrapping around, will still come on that. So his finger will be over that completely. So I'm going to do 5 knots. I think 5 knots is what will be perfect for him. I usually figure that out relatively quickly. Now, my issue is going to be, I'm going to have to trim these at an angle. And let's see if I can get them through the beads. Now, do I have... I did not keep a pair of pliers here. I have 50 million, well, I don't, not literally 50 million, but probably at least 5 sets of pliers back here. Different ones that I use. I buy sets of them, or 2 packs, to get one that I prefer. Sometimes doing a good burn singe on it and then doing a squish and doing a trim also on top of that at an angle and leaving some of the we'll see if that works. Ouch, ouch, ouch. And that worked on that. And the pole bead hole must be a little bit smaller than the moon and stars. Come on, baby. Come on. Almost there. Come on. Just a little bit more. And it might be through far enough to where I can grasp it. Come on. Come on. Maybe not. It might be pulling apart. See, even I have difficulties with... There we go. Lord have mercy. Yeah, that hole is definitely smaller than the... That one works so much easier. There's one. Yeah, that ain't gonna go anywhere. Let's see here. And that one. And let's separate those and throw the excess away. And I may be weird, but I like to singe my ends even if I'm technically done with. Actually, this is the way I prefer to do this. You guys see me do these 50 million times, and I've done a video where, the heck, it's trying to attach itself because it was still hot. There we go. Where you get that infinity type deal going through there. And do I need to do this type of a knot? No. I could just do like a simple over and through knot like that and tighten it down. But I just think the diamond knot makes it look better as a finishing knot. It's a little classier, a little more work, obviously. But I just think it looks a lot nicer than finishing with a simple overhand knot. And it's like everything else, the more you do it, the easier it becomes. Doesn't mean that you don't still occasionally screw up and do something weird. I mean, so I do that. It happens. But just wiggling it and tightening it, and then if you need to go back around for another trip to make it even tighter, usually a knotting tool or a set of decent needle nose pliers, and like I've mentioned before, make sure you get the kind that does not have teeth, as they snag and pull more on the paracord if they do have teeth. And you can still snag even if it's a smooth jaw. And these aren't, I mean, it's cheap metal. I need to take a little sanding file on the edges because I don't know if you can see where it's kind of, they're inexpensive, cheap pliers, but they do the job. I just need to kind of like sand them down a little bit. Let's see here. Is this the other one? If you hear something rattling around in the background, that's my 3D printer. I've been running it hard and heavy this weekend for a trade I made with somebody. I've been printing a lot of trays, different variations that will be going to him. And there we go. And you figure that's the lanyard that he has on there, and he wanted that, and I'm actually surprised he didn't have me. I'd picked up recently some of these in black. Actually, I think he forgot that I had these. Shh, don't tell him, because he might want me to swap to do different things with them. I've had stuff like that before that I've done. I just haven't done any recently, so it is, oops, what it is. And a little dangly bit. And let's see here. Yay, and I did long enough to where I can do zipper pulls and or a bracelet with what I have left here, which is what I usually aim for. So add that to my pile of stuff to do. But now all I need to do is singe these. And that I do melt to where it gets really melty, because I like the ends to more or less be kind of rounded. And to be very hot. But see, it's kind of, and there we go. A quick semi-painless lanyard for Brian, so that way it's done and he can put a loop or a pocket drop, because this will be a good size for a pocket drop if he wants to, in his pocket. So hopefully he's happy with that. I think that turned out pretty decently. The colors work. And he's got the beads, multiple beads, because he wanted a little bit more than just what one of these would have been. And I was like, he was like, the paw print. He goes, I want the paw on it. And then I was like, well, I have these little moons and stars that will work also, and we can bookend it per se. And he's like, okay, he's willing to try anything. If he doesn't like it, he knows all he has to do is say, Kelly, and I'll take him off and we'll do something else. Anyway, there you go. This was the Dixie that we should have gotten previously, that we finally did get. And I didn't check the tracking number to make sure that they got the other one back to them. I think those dropped yesterday or today. The more premium Fenrir fixed blades with the titanium handle. But it is what it is. Anyway, you guys have a wonderful day. Many hugs, many kisses, much love. Your friend Kelly. Bye-bye.